Ladies, gentlemen, and young ladies, good evening, everyone. Welcome. In this new conference, Geopolitics dedicated to current events global. In the news international, the great meeting which was planned between Donald Trump and Vladimir Putin's vision for power, negotiate for a ceasefire, intervene immediately so that the peace returns to Ukraine. The meeting was cancelled immediately. We don't know. We're not even talking about postponement. We are talking about cancellation. It was cancelled, yes. And the reasons for cancellation, this won't surprise you too much. You might think that this is Europe, which is at the base, since we saw the European Union, which is exit from his reserve through Kadies Kallas, who made announcements fanciful. But we understand better so why the European Union made this announcement. If you haven't followed this conference, she is on the page today's date. Kadies Kallas, the leader of European Union diplomacy, the High Representative of Foreign Affairs of the European Union, made a statement as impossible. And in this statement, we easily understand that these people don't want that, eh? Ukraine, may peace return to Ukraine. But we understand the background now there. The real problem is Russia, which opposed, which took a position, and that's what has finally everything messed up. So within the framework of this conference, geopolitics, this is current news that we are going to talk about. But before continue, I ask you to share the conference to the maximum. Put lots of likes, that's the principle. And above all, leave a review and comment. For all the news people, click the button subscribe. Subscribe. This will allow you to no longer miss our video conferences. You know it very well. Well, let's go then in the depths, ladies and gentlemen. There you have it. It must be said that it was a meeting historical who has just had an abortion. The meeting was so anticipated, so long awaited, but several factors come into combination. Moscow's decision, which prompted Donald Trump to cancel. We will see this decision, but in upstream, there are already combined factors which certainly pushed Russia to harden his position. You know that Poland, through his minister of foreign affairs, made an exit to say that Poland will force Vladimir Putin's plane to land on its territory so that it is arrested and transferred to the Criminal Court International. That's already a big one blockade, since it is the only right path that Vladimir's presidential plane Putin could borrow to go to Budapest. But apart from that, already the European Union was really ready. When I say the European Union, there is European Union officials who announced their joy at this meeting, and that in the name of peace, they were ready to suspend some decisions of the European Union. They were even ready to violate the law international, They were ready to violate international law. That is not sending Putin to the ICC. There you go. Don't even think about it anymore. Until the meeting takes place, very good, and that's it. So the preparations were underway. For several days, Washington, Moscow, and Brussels are in the process of work to organize a meeting, high-level talks between Donald Trump and Vladimir Putin in Budapest since several days. These three capitals work. There is the Minister of Foreign Affairs, Russian Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov, in synergy of action with Minister Marco Rubio, Minister of State, therefore Minister of American Foreign Affairs, which are already working together with Brussels to prepare for this high-level meeting level. Europe was really happy of this meeting, even if Europe had some grievances, some scratches regarding certain content points. So this meeting was supposed to mark a turning point towards peace. It was a global expectation. The European Union, through the voice of Joseph Borrell and Olaf Gil, had greeted this initiative as an opportunity for peace in Ukraine. So these are senior officials of Ukraine, the European Union, which had made this statement. The negotiators were already mobilized. The teams of Lavrov de Rubio, as has been said, had already been instructed to prepare the content of discussions, particularly around of SCC, the progressive and real fire. But there was a problem. So the rumors had already circulated. Donald Trump wanted to impose a shutdown, immediate cessation of hostilities, so automatically extinguish the fire. And if during this meeting, which was going to be really staged, if Vladimir Putin immediately accepted and signed without many contours being seen, Russia was going to risk losing territories, because on the side of the European Union. They said, Kadiaskala said today, he is not questioned that Ukraine loses a single one master of his territory. So here is one of the aspects that have pushed Russia to stay on the hard line. And so there was a Russian blockade. There was a Russian blockade. It is not necessarily linked to the Budapest announcement and from MO of Poland, to say that Russia was afraid. No, Russia was not afraid. It all depended on Putin and the Polish affair. They were going rush, and then the air battle that was going to take place, it was going to take place, but it would allow us to demonstrate to the face of the world the power of Russians. Vladimir Putin was not capable to bring in a first plane, which looks like his plane, a second one, which was going to be there to wage war, and then the other comes to pass quietly. He has all the options, but the real blockage comes from the Russia. This is Moscow's clear refusal. Kremlin rejected any idea to cease fire immediately. Here is the real problem. The Kremlin has rejected any idea of immediate ceasefire, considering that this would amount to freezing the gains territorial military gains Russians without political guarantees. That's to say, if there is an immediate ceasefire, this was going to freeze Russian gains, all that Russia has obtained. So in terms of territorial gains, and it was going to freeze. Yes. But without political guarantees, Russia does not want to be in the illusion. And according to Dmitry Peskov, who is the spokesman for the Kremlin, said this: it is illusory to talk about peace so much that the security conditions of the Russia are not recognized. Here is what that he declared. The conditions of Russia's security must be recognized. On the other side, the final decision facing to this position deemed inflexible, Donald Trump has decided to cancel the encounter. And there you go. So they think that the Russian position, Russia is not inflexible. Russia is tough on its position. So here is the real one. Reason why there was the blockade and then Donald Trump decided to cancel. Perhaps in the coming hours, here we go, Donald Trump, Vladimir Putin and others will return to best feelings. But the problem is that Putin is very tough. He spoke on the phone with Donald Trump, they agreed, and then after these delegates that they send, they come out of the conditions in the name of Putin, and then always conditions intact, identical to the first one's conditions that Russia had agreed upon. And so ladies, young ladies and gentlemen, that was the front page of the news. Thank you for sharing it. You come back with news information. It was, of course, the voice from your humble servant, the Samurai.